sentence without it getting cut off. I started to feel very, very disrespected.
When I covered your mouth, I feel like that made it even worse because I guess it was like me trying to control you in a sense.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Bird 91. A very quick one. I saw an interview that actually Alex had done with Vulture, and she said that she wasn't necessarily violent, or I should say, everyone we made too much of the situation. We made it out to be like she actually hit him, and I want to just say that listen, when it comes to these kind of situations, we also must understand that it doesn't always have to be that somebody hits you to be abusive. Right, when we talk about domestic violence in DV, I hate talking about that, but so I should have said a trigger warning, to be honest, at the very beginning. These situations, they start off this way, right? This is a conversation between the two of you, and you know what? I understand, Alex, she might have felt unseen, she might have felt unheard, she might have been triggered from her past, and this is a situation. But she actually says in this interview that, you know, it didn't play out the way that we made it out to play out, and I'm like, no, sis, it did play out the way that we thought it did. Right, because you were the one that admitted it onto the camera, right, and said what you said. In fact, we're gonna read it a little bit. I'm not gonna read the whole interview. I'll do another video for that where I can do the whole interview. But I want to focus specifically on the fight about where she covered his mouth, right? Because I think this is very important. I think she thinks that by the fact that she didn't hit him, it wasn't necessarily violent. But the reality of the situation is, it doesn't have to be, right? So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. Is your favorite dating and relationship coach, Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about Love is Blind. All right, cool. Look, she says here, because we didn't get to because this is an interview on Vulture, by the way. It says, because we didn't get to see that first big fight in Mexico, there's been a lot of confusion and speculation about how bad it was. Tim said you called him out of his name. Do you remember specifically what you said? She said, I just know I said something that wasn't the nicest. Girl, you know what you remember you said. You know exactly what you said. Okay? And then it says, other than when you covered his mouth, did the argument get physical at any point? She said, it actually wasn't physical at all. It wasn't that I physically covered his mouth. It was kind of like a emotion. Just to de-escalate the situation so he would understand that his voice was turning into yelling. I was trying to calm him down because sometimes people aren't aware of their tone. I was really just trying to make him aware that it was increasing. Then it says, okay, people definitely thought you put hands on him. Yes, they turned it into being physical, that I hit him and whatnot. It was never a physical altercation or a fight. It was just a verbal disagreement. No, baby, we never thought it was a fight because that's not what was said. Okay, we never thought it was a fight. We didn't think it was a fight. We are going based upon what was actually said in that moment, right? In that moment, what was said was that there was an altercation. There was a moment where you put your hand on his mouth to shush him. And you admitted that it was your way of controlling him. You are a boundary breaker, and that was abusive to do. Right? And so this run back all of a sudden where it's not a physical fight is what we're talking about, the minimalization of this type of behavior that usually leads to more abusive behavior, right? What she may be feeling is that she may be feeling a little bit guilty and saying, well, it wasn't, you know, when we think about, it's almost like when we think about, and I hate saying the big R word, and people think that people jump out of a bush and take people and be aggressive. And that's not usually how it happens. It's the same with abusive behaviors, right? That people think that, you know, someone's just screaming and shouting and then whamming you. That's not how it works, right? There are subtle things that happen before that. There are emotional abusive aspects, which is why calling people out on their name is one of those emotional abusive behaviors, right? That tends to lead to physical action. And it escalated really, really quickly. Now, when I did a video about this, I spoke about how that her need to try and control and her want to challenge boundaries was an issue. Now, that doesn't mean Tim is absolutely free, but we're not going to put them on the same level. When someone abuses somebody, can't put them on the same level. What we can say, though, is there are some behaviors that Tim does, which I think are provoking, personally. But going back to what was actually done, if you go back a few episodes, which I can do for you guys, like I said, I want to do a full breakdown for this for you guys in the future. I'll probably do it tomorrow, to be honest. If you go back to it, and I go, well, let's listen to it again one more time, and then we'll play
a sentence without it getting cut off. I started to feel very, very disrespected.
When I covered your mouth, I feel like that made it even worse because I guess it was like me trying to control you in a sense, but I just wanted you to stop being upset.
It's our second day here.
Now, the reason why she did this because she felt uncomfortable with him being upset. She felt uncomfortable. She's a boundary breaker, and she feels uncomfortable knowing that you're uncomfortable with you being upset, which is totally something that a fearful of woman or dismissive of woman would actually do as well. They tend to react on other people's feelings. In fact, dismissive, fearful, and anxious do these things where they project because they don't want other person to feel upset because it means something for them. Right? What's happening to the other person is actually saying something about them. Like if I made you upset, I start feeling bad because because what I'm really feeling is I'm afraid that you're going to abandon me or reject me because I've done something wrong. And my perfectionism is playing a role in this aspect where I'm like, if I do something wrong, it means you're no longer going to like me. You're going to hate me. You're going to no longer want to be around me because that's what I've experienced as a young individual. Right? I'm afraid of rejection because I've actually been rejected in the past. But that's another whole video. We can break that down another time. But about her own mouth, she actually told us what she did. Now, I want to go back to another episode quickly, episode 5. And I want to break that down for you guys. Oh, baby, that's the wrong part. Okay, yes. Okay, I want to break it down because habitual line steppers. Hopefully I've got the right aspect as well. Because
A really short temper. I feel like I get annoyed.
What annoys you? What's like a little thing?
I don't like repeating myself.
I can't remember the last time I was like mad. If you can get me outside of myself, that's a red flag.
That's a challenge.
No, I'm serious. I don't argue and I don't
No,
yell.
she meant it. No, see, she meant it. And that's what I was trying to say, that she meant that kind of behavior. And so it's come about in this way because when you say certain things like a joke, usually there's some truth behind it. And so we see that she said already that she had a short temper. And then when he mentioned about him keeping calm, she was going to habitually line step. There is an abusive aspect to his behavior. There is an abusive behavior to line step, consistently break people's boundaries, right? And I'll do another video where I break it down as to what happens and why people are boundary breakers like this. But they do it for her specifically. The reason why she's doing it is that, and it sounds really crazy, but she does it to prove that she's loved. Because she has not received unconditional love. And so when you do habitually line break, what you're really saying is, I pray that the person will forgive me and love me even when I break the boundaries. That's one aspect. And that will show me that he loves me because even when I've broken the boundaries, he loves me. Problem with that is it necessarily leads to more boundary breaking to prove again that the person loves you. When you test, you keep on testing. Right, it doesn't stay there, and so with her saying, obviously, everybody thinks it was violent. Well, baby, shushing his mouth was. It's about to get more violent if you continue the way you're going, right? And so we need to call it out and not minimize the behavior. We need sis to get some help. Okay, all right, quickly with that anger, because anger usually is a feeling of two things: either you're frustrated because your goals are you're not able to meet your goals. Or you are, in a sense, feeling violated. Now, I don't think she felt violated in that situation. I think she felt like she said, she was upset about him being upset. She was upset about her goals not being able to be met. That's why the shushing happened. And that leads to control. It's a fear response that is masked by the anger. Okay? And so we see the situation. What we need Alex to do is to start actually doing some real deep work, okay? Because this continues, probably will kind of end up getting worse with other partners in future as well, okay? So we don't want to minimize what she done, and I know she thinks it's about hitting somebody. That is not what it is, okay? So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked today. We'll see you again very soon. Much love.